Hey, what's up guys? Hardleg Joe here with your weekly What a Deck profile. This week we're looking at Anti-Meta Spirits 2018 edition. For our monster lineup, we're playing 3 Gamecill, 1 Dark Dust Spirit, 3 Yamato-No-Kami, 3 Dwayne Johnson, 3 Manju, 3 Aratama, 3 Nikitama, 2 Ghost Ogre, 2 Effect Veiler, 3 Shinobaron, and 3 Shinobaroness. For spells, we're playing 1 Raigeki, 3 Pre-Prep, 3 Trade-In, 1 Dark Hole, and 3 Shinobird Calling. Our extra deck consists of 1 each of Vermilion Dragon Mech, Yazi, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, number 38, Utopia Beyond, Photon Strike Bouncer, Real Lightning, Dark Rebellion, Utopia, Tornado Dragon, Baguska, Cowboy, Gaia Saber, Nightmare Cerberus, and Underclock Taker. The side deck I'll go over in a little bit. So this deck is a Go Second Board Breaker, designed to clear your opponent's field after they've set up everything, and then either OTK them outright, or stun them for a turn so that you can finish them off next turn. You mainly accomplish this through Shinbaron and Shinobaroness. These are both level 8 Ritual Spirit monsters, which are summonable by Shinobird Calling. Baron has 3000 attack, and when it's ritual summoned, you can return up to 3 monsters your opponent controls to the hand, and then special summon a level 4 or lower spirit from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. Baroness, meanwhile, has slightly less attack at 2500, and when it's ritual summoned, you can shuffle up to 3 spell traps your opponent controls into the deck, and then special summon a level 4 or lower spirit monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Both of these effects are non-targeting, non-destruction removal that not only allows you to clear your opponent's field of monsters or spell traps, but they also let you summon one of the most powerful cards in the game right now, Amano-Iwato. This 1900 attack spirit says monsters cannot activate their effects except spirit monsters, which is pretty devastating to most decks. Not only does this stop all effects everywhere, including the hand and the graveyard, but the effects can't even activate. So even monsters like Lilith, Lady of Lament, that tribute as a cost, they can't even do that. The only downside to this monster, and every other spirit for that matter, is that they all return to the hand at the end phase of the turn they are normal summoned or flipped face up. In addition, with the exception of the spirit rituals and this guy, none of the spirits can be special summoned. In this deck, though, the Shino rituals actually manage to bypass both of those restrictions. First, they ignore summoning conditions, allowing you to special summon a mono from the hand or deck, regardless of what it says. And second, since spirits only return to the hand at the end of the turn they're normal summoned, they won't return if they're special summoned. So an Amano summoned by Baron or Baroness will just stay on the field and prevent your opponent from activating any monster effects. And that's pretty much just the deck strategy. You summon either one of these, clear your opponent's field, summon a mono, attack for a bunch, and then hopefully your opponent can't recover with the big-ass rock in the way. Everything else in the deck is just supplementary, either helping you to reach your win condition faster, or giving you additional support to OTK or stun in different ways. To speed things up, we're playing Manju, which lets you add a ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to hand when it's summoned. Aratama is a spirit that lets you add another spirit from your deck to your hand when it's normal summoned. Pre-preparations of rites will allow you to get your ritual spell along with either Baron or Baroness, whichever one you like. And Trade-In, which lets you discard a level 8 monster to draw 2 cards. This can be particularly useful because your ritual spell says that you can tribute monsters from your hand or field, or you can banish spirit monsters from your graveyard as the cost. Meaning if you have 2 ritual monsters in your hand, since they're both level 8, you can discard one of them with Trade-In, draw 2 cards, and then banish that one as cost for the other one. We've also got an additional level 8 monster in the form of Gamecill, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. In addition to just being another level 8 that you can discard for trade-in or use as the entire cost for the ritual summon, Gamecill is here to remove troublesome monsters that might be able to negate your ritual summon, or monsters that can't be removed by Shinobaron's effect. Speaking of which, there's a little synergy with that effect. Since Baron returns cards to the hand, you can use your Kaiju, and then when you summon Baron, you can return it back to your hand and use it again. Probably next up in importance is Nikitama. This is a level 4 spirit, only has 800 attack, 1800 defense, and it has 2 effects. First, the turn it's normal summoned or flip face up, you can normal summon 1 spirit in addition to your normal summoner set. Second, when this card is sent to the graveyard while you control a spirit monster, draw 1 card. That second effect makes this an ideal card to use as cost for your ritual summon, since you'll send it to the grave, summon your monster, and then its effect will activate while you control the ritual spirit, allowing you to get that draw. Its first effect, meanwhile, allows you to go into a number of rank 4 plays with Aratama or Amano, which can be both useful for piling on damage or for stunning your opponent. We're playing a variety of rank 4s, most of which are just toolbox cards that I personally like, but there's 2 in particular I'd recommend. Baguska is a great choice if you need to stall, but you don't have your big-ass rock for whatever reason. You can play it in defense mode. It's almost the same thing as Amano, allowing you to stall for that 1 turn so that you can finish off your opponent next turn. Dark Rebellion, meanwhile, can be really amazing for bringing in the OTK. Assuming your opponent still has a high attack monster left, this can be a devastating amount of damage. Speaking of the OTK, to help with that, we're running 3 Yamato-No-Kami. This is a level 6 spirit with 2200 attack that can only be special summoned by banishing a spirit from the graveyard. Oftentimes, after you ritual or Xyz summon, you'll have one of your level 4 spirits in the grave, which you can banish for an additional 2200 attack, often allowing you to go for game. It also has an effect that if it destroys a monster by battle, you can destroy 1 spell trap your opponent controls, which is a nice bit of additional removal if you need it. With Yamato, I'm also playing the 1 tech Dark Dust Spirit. Like most spirits, this can't be special summoned, but when you normal summon it, you destroy all other face-up monsters on the field. So not only is this a great board wipe, especially late game, but oftentimes you can follow it up with Yamato-No-Kami, and then either use the 2 of them to summon a Utopia Beyond, reduce any surviving monsters to 0 attack, or you can just swing for the combined 4400, and then follow that up with Photon Strike Bouncer, which has a monster negating a quick effect that again can stun your opponent out for that next turn you need to finish them. Now, this guy can be a little bit bricky at level 6, but normal summoning isn't too difficult when you get it. Since Nikitama gives you a second normal summon, you can just normal summon it, then immediately tribute it for Dark Dust Spirit, letting you wipe the field and get a draw. You can also just summon a Yamato and then tribute it if you need to just wipe the field. And there's always a chance you'll have a token left over from one of your Shino birds. I didn't mention it earlier, but both rituals have the effect that when they return to the hand at the end phase, they summon 2 level 4 tokens with 1500 attack and defense. It's not much, but if they survive, it gives you potential tributes for Dark Dust Spirit, or you can tribute them for the rituals, or you can use them as link material. I just shoved a few generic links in here that I could use with the tokens, since this deck barely uses the extra deck. Feel free to play whatever you want. Although in particular, you'll probably want to throw in a Great Fly, since the tokens are wind. I completely forgot about that until now, but it would be really useful in this deck for piling on more damage. Anyway, the rest of the deck is just tech cards. Since this is a Go second deck, we're playing Dark Hole and Raigeki to destroy our opponent's field or to bait out any negations they may have. We're also playing 4 hand traps in the form of Ghost Ogre and Effect Veiler to disrupt our opponent during their first turn, and hopefully prevent them from making a board that's too big for us to break. With all 6 of these cards, you can really play just whatever you want. These are your open slots. If there are more hand traps you'd like to try out, you can do that if you prefer Ash Blossom. Red Reboot and Called by the Grave are also great options depending on the matchup. These are also the cards that you'll want to side out in most cases. If your opponent makes you go first, you'll definitely want to remove Raigeki and Dark Hole. Trade that out for Torrential Tribute, which is a much better going first board wipe. If your opponent has overwhelming spell traps or overwhelming monster effects, you can go for Cosmic Cyclone or Forbidden Chalice respectively. The latter of which also has some nice synergy with Amano, since you can negate its effect to return to the end phase, and keep it on the field in the same way you would if it was special summoned by the Barons. As for the rest of the side deck, we've got some alternative extra deck monsters depending on the matchup. Castell can function in the same spot as Dark Rebellion, just serving as removal instead of attack boost. If your opponent's playing monsters with less attack, Crooked Cook, meanwhile, is just a favorite of mine for decks like this that don't commit a lot to the field, since it becomes immune to effects while you control no other cards. Black Rose is just another level 7 Synchro. I didn't mention it, but since Ghost Ogre and Effect Veiler are tuners, you can easily normal summon them alongside your Yamato-No-Kami or your rituals to make level 7 or 9 synchros. Speaking of the tuners, I'm running another copy of each in the side deck just to swap out. Some matchups, Ghost Ogre's better, some matchup, Effect Veiler, so you'll want to switch out your extra copy for one of those. And finally, there's Fen Shuang, the Mega Space Chicken. This thing is essentially Dark Dust Spirit, but for set spell traps. The current format is really low on traps, so I side-decked it, but against a deck with a lot of traps, this can be a really good option. So there's the deck. I hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to see Anti-Meta Spirits in action, you can check out the main video linked in the description or on the end card. There I'll be playing 10 random duels against opponents on YGOPro and showing off what this thing does. Anyway, until next time, good luck and have fun.